Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we're counting down the 10 most unsporting moments in football history. And if you want to check out any more of our 10s when they come out, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. 10. Shearer's saliva. Now, there's been a multitude of spitting incidents in football over the years, involving the likes of Mihalovic, El Hadji Diouf and obviously Frank Rijkaard. So instead of littering this list with them, we've gone for one episode that epitomises unsporting behaviour. Jose Luis Shearer, the eccentric keeper who has more international goals for Paraguay than Emil Heskey has for England, isn't shy of letting his emotions run riot. And in a clash against Colombia in 1997, he got himself sent off for starting a brawl that got so out of hand, the riot police had to intervene. So provoking the keeper wasn't a wise move, as Roberto Carlos found out in 2001. According to the Bulldog, he was heavily provoked before and during a World Cup qualifier against Brazil, with Big Phil even getting involved. But it was so-called victim Roberto Carlos who was the main provocateur, with rude gestures to his crotch and racial slurs. The game finished 2-0 to Brazil, and the left-back thought he'd poke the bear one more time, gloating about the victory and mocking Shearer's performance. The keeper showed his appreciation for all of this with a hefty gob into Carlos's eye. 9. Suarez's teeth. A 3-in-1 entry now, and you're probably already familiar with the story. We don't know if Luis Suarez was just hungry or just crazy, but the Uruguayan's taste for human flesh has seemed to die down since moving to Barcelona. At Ajax, Liverpool and with his national team, Suarez's overbite has got him into some serious trouble. The first being in 2010, where PSV's Otman Bakal was the victim, the second in 2013 with Branislav Ivanovic, and the most famous in the 2014 World Cup, where Italy's Giorgio Chiellini got some serious teeth. In total, Suarez missed 17 games through suspension for the first two incidents, and a 4-month total footballing ban for the third. As of 2017, it's been 3 years since Suarez last summoned his inner vampire, or been involved in anything controversial for that matter. Maybe he's finally learnt his lesson. Only time will tell. 8. Kanu embarrasses Arsenal. In 1999, Arsenal hosted Sheffield United in the FA Cup 5th round. The game was entertaining enough, and with the score at 1-1, Blades goalkeeper Alan Kelly booted the ball into touch so his teammate Lee Morris could receive medical attention for an injury. Ray Parlour, keeping to the so-called English traditions of fair play, tried to throw the ball back to Kelly so play could resume. But debutant Nigerian forward Nwankwo Kanu hadn't quite got the grasp of this gesture, and so chased down the ball and charged towards the goal, unopposed as United's defenders stood there like terracotta warriors. He then passed the ball to Mark Overmars, who was caught in the moment himself, and just like that, Arsenal were 2-1 up. The fact that he and Overmars were so happy to score that goal and Arsenal didn't even let in another to level things up was extremely unsporting. But the Gunners redeemed themselves by offering a replay and voiding the previous game. Arsenal won the resultant match 2-1 again, so nothing really changed. 7. Hat-trick 0. We have a case similar to Kanu's confusion now, but this time Shakhtar didn't share the same forgiving nature as Arsenal. After scoring the first goal for Nordsjælland in their Champions League game against the Ukrainian side, Morten Nordstrand took a faceful of Fernandinho's shoulder and had to receive treatment. And as Shakhtar's Willie tried to give possession back to the Danish side, Luis Adriano took the ball, rounded the keeper and scored. To make things worse, instead of giving the home side a free goal to correct the scoreline, they dispossessed Nordsjælland and play resumed. Shakhtar won 5-2 and Adriano bagged a hat-trick, possibly the sleaziest in history. But justice was done as the Brazilian received a 1-game ban and even had to do some community service. 6. Willie Young, the last man. It was the 1980 FA Cup final, a game that was to change football forever. Arsenal came up against West Ham, and the Hammers' 17-year-old forward Paul Allen became the youngest player to play in the showpiece event, a record that stood until Millwall's Curtis Weston broke it in 2004. With the score at 1-0 to West Ham, the young forward broke past Arsenal's defence and was through on goal. But at that moment, Arsenal centre-back Willie Young took Allen out from behind with absolutely no intention of getting the ball. He may have denied a record breaker a record-breaking goal, but Young was only given a yellow card for his troubles. The subsequent outcry from the public saw the rules change, so that this kind of professional foul denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity would result in a player getting sent off, just as it should be. 5. Bowley butts Pearce. Euro 92 was a magical tournament. Denmark shocked Germany to win their first major trophy, the logo looked like a sugary rainbow strip, and the back pass still existed. But nothing's more magical than watching Stuart Pearce get drive-by headbutted by France's Basile Boli and then deny it ever happened in the post-match interview. Psycho had put in a bad challenge on French winger Jocelyn Anglemar, and as the two players were having a civil argument about the challenge, Boli decided to run over to the two and steamroll his forehead into Pearce's cheek, leaving a rather dashing cut. Pearce soldiered on as you'd expect and didn't make a big deal out of it, even denying the incident happened afterwards so the Frenchman didn't get into trouble. An oddly sporting reaction to an incredibly unsporting action. 4. Koeman tugs Platt. England fans enjoy nothing more than complaining about past injustices, or just about anything for that matter. But aside from ruining Everton Football Club with boring football, Ronald Koeman hurt more than just Scousers when he fouled David Platt in a 1993 World Cup qualifier. Remember Willie Young? Well, here's a perfect case of that rule being misused. In the 56th minute of a game against the Netherlands, a team who was superior in players and playing style at the time to England, David Platt was cleanly pulled down when he was one-on-one with the keeper. The ref initially gave a penalty but then decided the foul was outside of the box and decided to only give Koeman a yellow. The free kick's decision could have been forgiven, but it was a definite red. The Netherlands went on to win 2-0, and England never made it to the World Cup in the States. Koeman, knowing what he'd done, even apologised to Platt, but the damage had been done. 3. Pepé sticks a boot in. These days, Pepé is practically a byword for defensive aggression and psychotic centre-back behaviour, and he earned this unfavourable reputation back in 2009. The Portuguese centre-half eventually became a legend at the Bernabeu, but his Los Blancos career was filled with controversy to begin with. In the final minutes of a crucial La Liga clash with Getafe, Pepé pushed over Javi Casquero in the box as the midfielder was through on goal, and with a red card imminent, he made the most of it by literally kicking the man while he was down, twice. After the game, the defender claimed he didn't even recognise himself when he watched the incident back. He also went on to say that the ordeal had left him depressed, and that right now I have no desire to get back to playing, just as well as he was given a 10-match ban. 2. Shearer kicks Lennon. Alan Shearer, I hear you ask? What did he ever do wrong? He's the Angel of the North. Well, let me correct you. In 1998, Leicester played Newcastle in a bore draw, a game that nobody would remember but for one moment. The Foxes' Neil Lennon and the Premier League's top scorer got themselves into a tangle, leaving the Scotsman on his arse. The mix-up resulted in a foul for the Newcastle man, but just before the whistle was blown, Shearer uncharacteristically swung round and booted Lennon in the head. The ref gave nothing, not even a yellow, but after the game the FA looked to charge him for violent conduct. And this is where it gets super spicy. Shearer allegedly threatened to withdraw himself from the England World Cup squad, and the charges were dropped. Shearer went to the World Cup, England came second in their group and were then knocked out by Argentina in the second round. Well, that was worth it, wasn't it? 1. Henri shames Les Bleus. Our number one choice will boil the blood of any Irishman. In 2009, the Republic of Ireland and France faced off in the playoff for a place at the 2010 World Cup. And after a 1-0 win for France in the first leg in Dublin, the boys in green headed to the Stade de France. Luck was on their side as after 90 minutes the scores were level and it went into extra time. But in the 103rd minute, Thierry Henry controlled the ball with his hand before passing it to Gallas, who tapped it in. The Republic's luck had run out, France had gone through via Henry's deception, and the striker's reputation was forever tarnished. The Frenchman considered international retirement, and the match referee contemplated quitting. Henry was also listed on Time magazine's top 10 sporting cheats, and rightly so.
So thanks once again for watching, guys, and if you enjoyed this, why not click on screen right now for another one of our fantastic videos. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.